Nerve impulses leading to the brain carry information about cool temperatures on the skin. The nerve fibers sending these signals will most likely belong to which division of the nervous system? The sensory or the afferent division. Which of the following is an excitatory neurotransmitter secreted by motor neurons innervating skeletal muscle? Acetylcholine. Which of the following describes the excitatory postsynaptic potential? Short distance depolarization. The concentration neurotransmitters in the fluid of the synaptic cleft must be type regulated for the neurons to properly function. Which of the following cells is most responsible for aiding in this regulation? Astrocytes. The second nerve impulse cannot be generated until the membrane potential has been reestablished. Which of the following is not a function of astrocytes? Astrocytes do support embrace neurons, they anchor neurons to blood vessels, they guide migration of young neurons, synapse formation, and help to determine capillary permeability. But astrocytes do not provide an immune defense for the CNS. The depolarization of an action potential is punctuated by the closing of the inactivation gates in the voltage-gated channel ions. All the following are consequences of this inactivation except one. Okay, the consequences are: this stops the depolarization of the axon membrane, it limits the frequency of action potentials, and it allows for the one-way transmission of action potential down the axon. The thing that is not a consequence is that it allows for the reflux division out of potassium ions, resulting in the repolarization of the cell. Which of the following describes a graded potential? A graded potential can have amplitudes of various sizes. Meningitis can be caused by infection of the central nervous system by bacteria. Which cells would be most responsible to remove the infection? It's microglia. Select the correct statement regarding chemical synapse. The synaptic cleft uses the action potential to transmit a chemical sign to the postsynaptic cell. Which of the following is not a chemical class of neurotransmitters? Nucleic acid. The interior surface of a neuroplasma membrane at the resting membrane potential will have a negative charge and contains SSS, less sodium than the outside cell. Which of the following is false or incorrect? A nerve impulse occurs if the excitatory and inhibitory effects are equal. If postsynaptic cell is stimulated by threshold to temporal summation, this implies that a presynaptic neuron is sending frequent EPSP. Inhibitory postsynaptic potential, IPSP, is associated with hyperpolarization. During the relative refractory period of an action potential, a larger than normal stimulus is needed to cause another action potential. This is due to the fact that the voltage-gated potassium ions remain open long enough to hyperpolarize the axon membrane. An action potential is regarded as an example of positive feedback. Which of the following examples best illustrates the positive aspect of an action potential? A threshold stimulus will cause the opening of a voltage-gated ion channels that will further depolarizing stimulus. The stimulus will open still more voltage-gated sodium ions. Which of the following is not a function of the autonomous nervous system? It does not innervate the skeletal muscle, but it does innervate cardiac muscle, glands, innervate smooth muscle of the digestive tract. The concentration of ions in chemical environment surrounding the neurons must be tightly regulated for neurons to function properly. Which of the following is most responsible for this? Astrocytes. Which of the following describes the nervous system integrative function? It analyzes sensory information, stores info, and makes decisions.